Yo, welcome to Hard Pass. I am your host, Jacques Slade. Today on the show, we've got an apology to Paul George? Really? Kanye producing alleged classics in record time, the week's hottest releases, and of course, a Hard Pass. All right, let's start the show with some hot takes. So, the first voting returns for the NBA All-Star Game are here, and Devin Booker is not in the top 10 of the Western Conference guards. That's wild, man. Like, Booker is a walking bucket, made the NBA Finals, has a 70-point game in his ledger, dated a Kardashian or a Jenner, and has a Nike signature shoe on the way. And yet, he's outside of the top 10, trailing guys who I figured he was on at least the same level of popularity-wise, like De'Aaron Fox and Anthony Edwards and Ja Morant. I don't know what that means for his upcoming Nike Book 1, but I could never imagine any of their other signature shoe athletes, past and present, being that far down the voting totals. That's kind of crazy to me. Steven Smith claims that he and Kanye West designed the Wave Runner in 48 hours. I mean, some of the greatest songs were probably written on napkin in 20 minutes, so yeah, sometimes inspiration just hits you at the right time and magic happens. What I'm more interested in is the chatter that the Wave Runner is already iconic. Like, we use that word way too much these days, man. I mean, sure, in the Adidas Yeezy oeuvre, the Wave Runner colorway and the 700 silhouette as a whole is probably the one that will stand the test of time. But to call it iconic, I think that's a stretch. As long as nobody here is calling those new pods anything besides dumpster fires, I think we'll be okay, but you get what I'm saying. So Anthony Edwards' Adidas AE1 seems to have captured the imagination of the sneaker world if the sold-out status of the debut colorway is anything to go by. One of the upcoming colorways of the AE1 is a black and white Stormtrooper homage to Adidas, the Kobe 1, but with one glaring and, I'm going to say honestly, annoying difference. The green AE and the three stripes logos. Man, really, Adidas? You had a banger, guys, and you had to ruin it. It's like if Tinker Hatfield looked at the original Air Jordan 11 Concord and said to himself, hey, you know what would really make this even better? If the Jumpman was blue. Like, why do brands do this? Black and white AE1s, you had it, and you messed it up. Netflix is bringing the Drive to Survive in full swing formula to hoops with the announcement of a new series that follows a number of NBA stars, including Anthony Edwards, LeBron James, Jason Tatum, Jimmy Butler, and Domantas Sabonis. Cool, but let's be real, I'm not going to watch every featured player on here. The reason I got through their quarterback show last year so fast was because I only watched the Patrick Mahomes parts and skipped through the Kirk Cousins and Marcus Mariota segments. I'm calling it right now. Definitely watching all the LeBron segments because, duh, Anthony Edwards and Jimmy Butler are going to be pure comedy, and I'll be skipping through Tatum and Sabonis because you can't make me like a Celtic and a King? Really? Whatever. It was recently announced that The Rock has signed up for an A24 movie about an MMA fighter because he wants to become a dramatic actor. Man, Black Adam must have really bombed for him if he's out here trying to become Discount Dave Batista, returning to the Fast and Furious and shoehorning his way into a WrestleMania main event. Shout out to James Gunn, man. He could have kept Rocky in his DC universe, but nope, hard pass. Now we're getting focused Rocky, who has to try again. You know what? We're all for it. So, before we move on to the pick of the week and the hard pass, yeah, this one is a doozy this week. A quick mea culpa to one Paul George. If you're a fan of the show, you'll know that we do more than our fair share of jokes about his now defunct signature shoe line. Sure, Paul George's signature shoe guide could have turned out better, but Podcast P? Killer.
Like,
I make a bad pass and I'll be quick to deflect that.
Oh yeah, every time. I don't never ever turn over. That's my fault.
I do that.
And as soon as we get to the back, I'll be like, "Yo, fam."
Yeah.
Especially when you have a roster like the Clippers.
20-point turnaround in this game. Clippers trail by as many as 14. Not a great pass there from Paul George. It's turnover number 10.
I don't think I've ever related to a hooper more than in that moment. I do the same thing, P. I honestly do. Except I don't apologize afterwards because I always make the right pass, and it's the other guy's fault for not catching it. Talking about co-writer here at a pickup game. Anyway, pick of the week. Reebok Answer 3 in black and white. It's a blast from Reebok's past. The Reebok Answer 3 was on Allen Iverson's feet during his breakout 99-2000 season when he became an all-star for the first time. I'm just glad that Reebok is focusing on these models now after the past 2 years, which have felt like they've been flooded with questions and answer fours. It's time for this week's Hard Pass. We'll take a look at something in the culture that just needs to go. Like Tony Khan's Twitter account, as in somebody over there in Jacksonville needs to relieve Tony of his tweeting privileges. Like, Daddy Shad Khan should step in and be like, look, son, stop hindering Jinder and worry about your own, wrestlers. Also, shout out to Jinder Mahal, man. Sure, he was made to look like a jabroni next to The Rock, but now the company is giving him a chance to change the perception of his character in a match against World Heavyweight Champion Seth freaking Rollins on Monday. Put on a banger match, and maybe he won't be booked as the most one-note WWE champion there's ever been anymore. He might even get a chance to finish his story. All right, so this week's Hard Pass goes to golf. Okay, not golf as in the game of golf. I mean, the look of the game needs a hard pass. Over the past few weeks, there's been a huge shakeup in the apparel space. It's been a long time coming if you've been paying attention for the past few years. From Jordan Brand integrating their retros, to Malbon collaborating with everybody, to the rise of Eastside Golf and plenty of upstart brands bringing their touch and flavor to a sport that has looked and felt the same for a while now. But it was the announcement of Tiger Woods and Nike parting ways and Jason Day signing with Malbon that raised a lot of eyebrows. See this? This is me raising my eyebrows like The Rock when I saw that Day was going to become a Malbon guy. We look exactly the same, right? God, I look good. Let's start with Jason Day first. Malbon also signed Charlie Hull, the 8th-ranked women's golfer in the world, Jung-Eun Lee, a major winner, and Jesper Parnevik, an OG when it comes to challenging the conventions of how golfers should look. But it was Day who made the headlines when he debuted his new look at the Century in Hawaii. There was a lot of attention being paid to Day's pants, the Malbon Malachio Chinos. When I first saw people posting about the pants on socials, I thought it was about the embroidered pattern, but no. It was about the bagginess of said pants. I mean, Day was even referred to by my guys on the ESPN booth as Jason Day and his pants. First of all, were they even that baggy? I don't know. As somebody who has some real baggy pants in his closet from the 2000s that are this close to being dusted off for a killer throwback post, those Malbons barely even register to me as baggy. And it's not like baggy is an entirely new look for golf. I mean, look at Phil's pants in 2012. John Daly was all about the just got out of bed and went straight to the fairway look then, now, and forever. And let's not forget, as recently as 2018, Day was clowning Tiger for his MC Hammer pants from the 90s and 2000s. Oh, how the tables have turned, Jason. How the tables have turned. Here's the thing. I think only part of this conversation is about baggy pants. We are so deep into the leg and thigh hugging golf pants era that some golfers and fans have forgotten how to breathe in every sense of the word. But I think a bigger part of this conversation is the fact that Day signed with Malbon. I'm not going to say that Malbon poses some sort of existential threat to the game as we know it, but there is chatter out there like it is. For example, take this clip from the No Laying Up podcast from a few days ago that once again raised my eyebrows like the people's champ so much that I had to chime in.
Where golf's getting cooler and you just need to accept it type of people that are like, just really, I don't know if they might be trying to convince themselves at this point.
Now, you would think that someone with a Grateful Dead hat on would be more accepting of different styles and different cultures, because really, that's what the Grateful Dead is all about, bringing all of these diverse styles together. So why can't apparel on the golf course be just like that? All of these different styles that appear on the course. And why is streetwear treated like it's some sort of parasite on the game of golf? These people are embracing the game of golf. They're golfers just like you. Because they don't dress like you doesn't make them any less.
The offense is not what I'm worried about here. Does it look good? No, it flat out doesn't.
To you. As you can tell, it's the streetwear crowd trying to convince themselves that golf is getting cooler line that got to me. Like, what's wrong with golf getting cooler? Nobody is trying to convince anybody of anything. The people who look to hype golf for style and spo isn't worried about what the old heads think. They are just trying to carve out their own space in the golf world. It's a space that wears baggy pants, logo tees, and sneakers with custom spikes. It's not like Day is doing all three on tour because there's still rules and whatnot, but for the rest of us, game on. There's room for everybody. And honestly, it's less about convincing the olds that golf is becoming cooler and more about golf becoming more relatable to faces and voices that normally didn't get featured traditionally. We're out here enjoying the game that we love as much as the old heads do, and with that enjoyment comes our own flavor. Nobody, from Malbon to Eastside to Bogey Boys to Puglet Drip to Trap Golf, is disrespecting the game. We follow proper golf etiquette, we know the unwritten rules, and we definitely don't take divots like Tiger. The difference is, while Tiger can hit any shot he wants perfectly, mine just kind of rolls down the fairway a few yards. Anyways, on to Tiger. Well, it finally happened. After 27 years, Nike and Tiger have parted ways. However, unlike other notable names that have left the swoosh through the years, the split was amicable. Well, amicable enough that Nike posted a thanks for the memories on their socials to really drive home that they were out of the woods. Get it? Because it's Tiger and his last name is Woods. So Tiger Woods out of the, I should be a comedian. No details yet on what caused the split, but I can imagine it was probably some variation of Nike made an offer that positions Tiger as more of a legacy brand than an ongoing concern. Tiger thinks he has a lot more to offer than that, and they couldn't figure it out. If this were 2003 when Tiger was winning at a record pace, Nike would have found a way to keep him. If this were 2013 when he was still dominating but not winning majors, no way Nike lets him go. If this were 2019 when Tiger won the Masters, Phil Knight is flying to Jupiter, Florida to hand deliver the check. But it's 2024. Tiger hasn't been able to complete a full 4 rounds without us worrying about his health in years. He's garnering more headlines for his endeavors to grow the game through his tech-infused golf league and his PopStroke mini golf courses than he is at winning tournaments. Nike let Jason Day go to Malbon. Tommy Fleetwood is wearing Nike-free golf shoes that bear more than a passing resemblance to Tiger's TW13 era. Tiger himself stopped wearing his own signature shoes. The signs were there. We just figured that they would figure it out. Except they didn't. So what does that mean for Nike and Tiger? Well, there are rumors out there that Nike is leaving the golf world entirely in the near future, and that probably played into the calculus of the Tiger negotiations and the decision to let a recognizable name like Jason Day walk. I can't imagine that would be the case because I think Nike wants their swoosh on every sport imaginable, especially one that gets plenty of TV time like golf. And with the trio of Jordan 1 Low golfs dropping this week alone, it's a sign that they're not going anywhere. They just might delegate the responsibility to someone else. Also, one would think that if another Tiger-like prodigy is on the horizon, they would be right back in the mix, hyping them up like they did Woods 27 years ago. What happens to the biggest name left on Nike's roster, Rory McIlroy? That will help paint a clearer picture of what Nike does next. Like, the world needs Brooks Koepka to rock some limited edition kicks for Augusta in a few months. Come on, Nike, don't deny us that. And then there was Tiger. Look, it's a testament to just how great he was that he is still the one true needle mover in golf. It's also kind of an indictment on the game that it hasn't been able to produce another transcendent star since Woods signed with Nike 27 years ago. But that's a conversation for another time. Let's play out the future of the Tiger brand. So there's a number of rumors where Woods might land. TaylorMade, Woods' equipment partner, might be getting into the apparel game. That rumor would be 10 times funnier if Adidas still owned TaylorMade, but I digress. Just the image of the 3 stripes and Tiger's TGR logo side by side makes me laugh every time I think of it. Then there's FootJoy, the brand Tiger abandoned his signature shoe line for. There are other candidates out there. Malbon is also being named as a potential landing spot, but I can't see that being the case because of Woods' traditional style. Oh, let's not get it twisted. Tiger going back to his baggy pants era is something I don't think we'd have a problem going back to. It's the logo overload that I think he would not be down for. In other words, don't expect Tiger to rock his Sunday red and black with his TGR logo, the Malbon logo, and the Undefeated logo. That's not going to happen. In his farewell to Nike post, Woods ends it with there will be another chapter and see you in LA. The implication there is that whatever Woods' next move will be, the kickoff will be in Los Angeles. According to the PGA Tour calendar, the Genesis Invitational, an event Woods hosts, takes place in the middle of February. Yeah, pretty sure those dots are connecting themselves at this point, but here's what I'm thinking. Just how big of a deal is it going to be? Like, yes, it's a huge deal that Tiger Woods is going to be wearing another brand or maybe his own brand in the golf tournament, but it's 2024, where Tiger making the cut is no longer a given. If I had to create a timeline of how this all plays out, it would look something like this. Tiger posts cryptic messages and images on his social. Woods' famous non-Nike friends reply with googly eye emojis. A day in time is teased before the Genesis. Tiger unveils his new apparel and a shoe deal wearing his Sunday red and black. Introduces PGA and LPGA golfers that will become Tiger brand athletes. Initial run of new Tiger gear sells out in seconds. Co-writer is heated that he missed out on the new hat. Tiger wears his new gear for the Genesis, pulls off a miraculous victory, and goes on to win the next 4 majors, breaking Jack Nicklaus's record of 18. Okay, look, hey, a guy can dream, right? The other way this can go is a path that's similar to another legendary athlete who recently left Nike, Roger Federer. Like Woods, Federer is a bona fide GOAT candidate who we assumed would be a Nike athlete forever. Like, you don't get Michael Jordan to show up to promote your signature shoe collaboration with Jordan Brand if you're not a big deal. In 2018, with his full-time career winding down, Federer left Nike because in his mind, he valued himself at a level that Nike was no longer willing to match. That move paid off for him as he signed a $30 million deal with Uniqlo, retained his iconic RF logo, and became an investor with Swiss performance brand On, whose running shoes are on plenty of feet these days. This level of success post-Nike is not outside the realm of possibility for Tiger. Actually, considering his stature in the greater culture, I would be surprised if he didn't surpass Roger by all metrics. But here's the thing. What are we considering success? In a 2023 book called The Roger Effect, a former Nike tennis executive, Mike Nakajima, expressed his frustration in Nike letting Federer leave, saying that they could have done for Federer what they did for Michael Jordan. Because if we're just talking about dollars and cents, sure, Roger has done pretty well for himself, just like whatever is next for Tiger is going to be a huge moneymaker. But when Federer was a Nike guy, he could get Michael Jordan to fly to New York to promote his signature shoe collaboration for Jordan Brand. When Tiger was a Nike guy, which again is really weird to refer to that relationship in the past tense, he was arguably the second most important athlete on the payroll. He has a building named after him at Nike World HQ. His commercials are the stuff of legend no matter how serious or goofy they were. When you imagine Tiger, the Nike swoosh is there, and now it's gone. Look, Nike probably crunched the numbers and the math probably didn't math for them anymore. But if I were Nike and Phil Knight, I couldn't imagine throwing away those 27 years. But again, that's just me. All right, that's going to do it for the show. Thank you for watching Hard Pass. I am Jacques Slade. I'll see you next week. Now, if you'd like to possibly be featured in a future episode, call us at 818-493-9325. Leave us a short message, your socials if you want, no more than 30 seconds. All right, I'll see you guys soon. Peace.